The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outkast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on a Tuesday morning. Good morning to everybody. Hope that you are having yourself a fantastic day. We are live on all the various social media channels, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We are everywhere. I'm a little heated today, guys. A little heated. I woke up this morning, started listening to ESPN radio, supporting my dude, Pat Costello, producer extraordinaire, listening to Unsportsmanlike on ESPN. As I was walking the boys to school or walking back with my kids from school, and I was listening to a conversation that was being had, and it all stemmed from a Bill Barnwell, who I love, a Bill Barnwell article that's on ESPN.com right now saying Dallas Cowboys contract mistakes with Parsons, Prescott, and Lamb. And the clickbait was how Jerry Jones' bungled contract negotiations cost the Cowboys $100 million. I got my guy Tommy Cananzo hanging out on the show right now with me. Thank you so much. B. Strilla saying good morning, Mr. Tipton. Good morning to you, Strilla. Hope that you are having yourself a fantastic day. So the article says how Jerry Jones' bungled contract negotiations cost the Dallas Cowboys over $100 million. And I had to go back and look at, what years are we talking about? And we're talking about, Zach Martin. We're talking about Dak Prescott's first contract, CeeDee Lamb, obviously. They're talking about Micah Parsons and all the stuff that's going on with that and blah, 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 blah. And I had to sit back and kind of think to myself, okay, when Dak Prescott's first contract came up, and this is what the article was talking about, in 2019, they let Dak Prescott play out that 2019 season, and he was making $31 million that season on the franchise tag with the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys opted to not give Dak Prescott the franchise tag for a second time, which would have brought his value up to $37.5 million. Instead, they give him a contract of $40 million. And you might be asking yourself, well, Tip, that's a lot of money for a guy, right? Like that's a lot of money for Dak Prescott. Not if you look at it from the standpoint of he was making, if you gave him the franchise tag, was going to make $37.5 million. And I hate that once again, I have to be in this position as the Jerry Jones apologist. Like I genuinely hate that this is where my life is taking me. What the hell is this? I got an ad for Ben & Jerry's Scoopapalooza. I'm trying to look at contracts over here. What are we doing? Sportstrack.com. So I took it upon myself to say, okay, $40 million from 31, which would have been 37 if you gave him the franchise tag, whatever. $40 million. Let's see what contracts looked like in 2020. Let's see who out there was making money. And the number one quarterback contract in 2020 was Patrick Mahomes, making $45 million that season. Number two was Deshaun Watson at $39 million. Number three was Russell Wilson at $40 million or $35 million. Ben Roethlisberger at $34 million. Jared Goff at $33.5 million. Tied with Aaron Rodgers there. Kirk Cousins at $33 million. Carson Wentz at $32 million. And then you have Dak Prescott at his $31.5. It was not that the Dallas Cowboys were going to, try to save $10 million by signing Dak Prescott to a $30 million deal, which everyone thought that they were going to do. It's that the quarterback market was already at $40 million. Deshaun Watson got his money. You could say that Dak Prescott was a better quarterback, still is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson, therefore was worth paying the man $40 million. If Deshaun Watson set the mark at 39, Dak Prescott was going to come in at 40. And then I had to ask myself, okay, Tip, what quarterbacks got paid after Dak Prescott? So we fast forward, right? Dak Prescott's $40 million. Matthew Stafford got up to $40 million. So they were tied. Then you have Aaron Rodgers making 50.2. Russell Wilson making 48.5. Kyler Murray making 46.1. Deshaun Watson got another $46 million contract. Patrick Mahomes still at 45. Josh Allen at 43. Derek Carr at 40.5. Self-tip, that's dangerous, says Augustine. It really is. The Dallas, so 1 year after Dak Prescott signs his $40 million deal as the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, 1 season after that's done, the market is already now up to $50 million. You can say Jerry missed the boat or whatever, anything like that, but 1 season after Dak Prescott signs his contract, he becomes the 8th highest paid quarterback in the NFL, tied with Matthew Stafford. The 8th highest paid quarterback in the NFL, because contracts keep ballooning. So go with the hypothetical. The Dallas Cowboys give the franchise tag in 2020 to Dak Prescott. The second franchise tag. He's making $37.5 million instead of giving him the 40. The next contract he has to sign is a $50 million contract. It's not that Jerry Jones keeps missing the boat, as Bill Barnwell puts out here. Now let's go back to last season, right? Because now Dak Prescott is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Still the highest paid quarterback in the NFL this season. Overpaid. Party of Dak is what Augustine is saying. Dak Prescott overpaid. According to Augustine. I think any athlete out there is overpaid. But that's where the market was, right? Like that's where the market is supposed to be. You know that there's going to be another quarterback that comes up, as Dak Prescott's currently the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. But look at some of these names that are around here, right? Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, Tua Tagovailoa, Brock Purdy. Those are the names that are making just under what Dak Prescott is making. You know Josh Allen's contract is going to get extended. You know eventually Lamar Jackson's going to get a higher contract. You know a lot of these guys out there are going to get a ton of money. The next batch of quarterbacks that are going to come up are going to get paid more than $60 million. Everyone thought that Deshaun Watson getting 46 was going to be the peak of it, and it just keeps going. We left 46 in the background whenever you gave Aaron Rodgers, an old Aaron Rodgers, $50 million in 2022. That's where it was set at, right? Aaron Rodgers at $50 million. Well, in 2023, Jalen Hurts gets 51. Lamar Jackson gets 52. Justin Herbert gets 52.5. Joe Burrow gets 55. It's not that Jerry keeps missing the boat, and you can say, okay, sure, he could have had Dak at 30 back in 2020. He had Dak at 31 in 2020. Then in 2021, the market bounced up to 40, and he gave Dak 40. I'm just like, I'm tired of this narrative of everything that's going on with, you know, the Dallas Cowboys losing money and the Dallas Cowboys doing this, and Jerry Jones is this terrible GM. And again, I understand if Jerry Jones wasn't the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones wouldn't have a job, right? Like, I understand that. Any GM that's had the team that the Dallas Cowboys have had, the talent on the team that the Dallas Cowboys have had, that have gone through the coaching carousel of the Dallas Cowboys that they have. Augustine saying, I'm tired of hearing Cowboys fans say this is our year, which is absolutely hilarious because you bring that up more than anybody else does. You say it more than anybody else does. As a Cowboys fan, I've said it in jest. I think Tommy says it just to say it because it pisses you off, but I've literally not heard any other Dallas Cowboys fan say that. I've heard Dallas Cowboys haters say it. It seems to be their favorite thing to say. I think it's just stuck in your head. Like that shows you that the Dallas Cowboys, like you could hate them, love them, whatever. They are the earworm. Tommy's saying this is our year. And honestly, that should be the way that every fan thinks about it. Why would you go into a season thinking that, oh no, we're going to be horrible this year? Why would you be so pessimistic entering the season? You should have that optimism. You should have that hope. That's what sports is. That's what fandom is. You're trafficking in hope. I don't understand that. Like any other team can be like, oh, we're going to be really good this year. And everyone will be like, you know what? You've got a point. But the second a Dallas Cowboys fan is like, you know what? I like our team this year. I don't think that we're going to be as bad as we were last year. I think we're going to be better this year. Oh, you Cowboys fans. Oh. I've heard Augustine say this is our year more than I've heard anybody else say this is our year. Yet keeps talking about how he hates hearing Cowboys fans say this is our year. Maybe on local radio they're saying that. Maybe I've actually got to tune in and listen to local sports radio. And maybe, just maybe, there's Cowboys fans out there saying that. God, I haven't listened to local sports radio since 2020. Bad on me. Augustine saying, I hate Cowboys fans. They live in your head rent-free, clearly. Clearly, they live in your head rent-free. So now I wanted to talk about the next contract that they had on up here, which was the CeeDee Lamb contract. The CeeDee Lamb contract. Let me scroll down. Let me find all this stuff. Trying to scroll through the article. I had something right here, but let's see what it is. So they're talking about how they could have extended CeeDee Lamb for $25 million. And they waited, and they waited, and they waited. And they had to sign CeeDee Lamb to $34 million. And I sit back and I think about it like, okay, well, that's kind of where the market was. So they're talking about last season, right? Signing CeeDee Lamb last season to his contract, $35 million, $34 million. Well, the market dictated that he was worth $34 million, right? Like that's kind of the way that this is going. Because let's look at the 2023 season. Devontae Adams, we'll start with the top five. There you have two tied at the top five. Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf making 24. A.J. Brown making 25. Cooper Kupp making 26.5. Devontae Adams making 28. Tyreek Hill making 30. Now fast forward to 2024. Amon-Ra or Brandon Ayuk got paid 30. Amon-Ra St. Brown got paid 30. A.J. Brown got paid 32. CeeDee Lamb got paid 34. Justin Jefferson got paid 35. So CeeDee Lamb didn't even set the market. Think about that. CeeDee Lamb wasn't the one that said, okay, this is where it's going to be. Like I'm going to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL this season. It didn't even happen that way. Then this season, Jamar Chase gets $40.2 million. The market keeps climbing up. You have your options, and yeah, you can be like, look, play out your season. I got you, whatever. I understand it. I understand that people can look at Jerry Jones and be like, oh, he's got to pay these contracts ahead of time. Why let them play out their fifth-year option? Blah, 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 blah. It's old school business. I signed you to a contract. You're going to play the whole contract. But it's not like Jerry Jones is getting value or not getting value out of them. Because in one season, CeeDee Lamb goes from being paid as the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, just a couple of days later, becomes the second highest paid player in the NFL. And this season is now the third highest paid player in the NFL because contracts continue, wide receiver rather, in the NFL. Because the contracts keep going up. The salary cap keeps going up. So I had to look at it, right? Like I read this article. And they're talking about what Micah Parsons is ultimately going to cost the Dallas Cowboys. At the end of the day, whenever you have the Micah Parsons contract, the CeeDee Lamb contract, 2 Dak Prescott contracts, a Zach Martin contract, a Zeke Elliott contract. Whenever you add up all of these contracts that the Dallas Cowboys waited on for star players, according to Bill Barnwell, it has cost the Dallas Cowboys $100 million over the last decade. And you think to yourself, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money, because it really is a lot of money, right? Like to us normal folk, that's a lot of money. So I had to look it up. And according to Forbes, the Dallas Cowboys are the highest valued team in the NFL. And I had to think to myself, that's wild, right? Like, that's crazy. The Dallas Cowboys are the highest valued team in the NFL. But how much money did the Dallas Cowboys make? So I did some research, went to Sports Pro, went to Sportico, went to Statistisa, went to all these places, a bunch of different websites. And we don't have the numbers for the 2024 season, but we have the numbers for the 2023 season. The Dallas Cowboys had an operating income of $5.64 million. Or sorry about that, $564 million. That's how much it took to operate the Dallas Cowboys, was $564 million. And after all of that was paid in the 2023 season, the Dallas Cowboys had a revenue of $1.2 billion. So it's safe to say, and let's take that 0.2 out, right? Let's just keep it at where it is, that over the last decade, the Dallas Cowboys have made $10 billion. It can easily be more, right? Like we could say it could easily be more. It could slightly be less. Let's call it $8 billion or $5 billion, which would be a low estimation on what the Dallas Cowboys made after all the bills were paid. Do you think Jerry Jones gives a flying F about 1% being paid on players, a little over players, whenever that $100 million gets extrapolated out of the $10 billion that the Dallas Cowboys made over the last decade? Not every team is going to be able to have the pockets that the Dallas Cowboys have, right? Not every team is going to have the value, the marketability that the Dallas Cowboys have. So if you said that the Jacksonville Jaguars, our second favorite team on this show, if you said the Jacksonville Jaguars overpaid $100 million to players, then you would think to yourself, okay, well, let's see how much the Jacksonville Jaguars made. In 2023, the Jacksonville Jaguars made, after all of the operating expenses and everything else like that, $567 million. They made effectively a third of what the Dallas Cowboys made. So you could say, okay, that $100 million, that hits the Jaguars a lot more than it hits the Dallas Cowboys. That hits a ton of other franchises a lot more than it hits the Dallas Cowboys. But you cannot sit back and say, oh, man, the Dallas Cowboys over the last decade, man, they had to spend $100 million more than every other than what they should have to get these players signed, when they made $10 billion. And if you actually look at the real number, it's going to be $12 billion because it's 1.2 every year over the last decade. That $100 million, and it's crazy to say it like this, is a single percent out of that $10 billion that the Cowboys have made. 1%. One. That's like crying over a penny. Whenever you had to spend $1, you got $1 back, and you had to give someone a penny out of it, so you only got 99 cents back. That's what that's like. We just get caught up in the numbers. Tommy Canazza saying Jerry's net worth is more than $16 billion. $100 million is weekend money for him. He has a yacht That's $275 million. What, 175% more than what the value is that he lost on player contracts? Like, give me a break here with this conversation that we're trying to have of Jerry Jones does bad deals. We can look at it that way. Tommy Canata saying that would bother me. I hate having change. LOL. Okay, I got you. My bad. It's like you got $100 and you had to give $1 back. Now you've got $99. Is that better? Now we don't have to worry about the change, but now you're going to have 4 ones and a 5 in there, a 10 and 4 20s. That's better, right? Like having the 20s, the 10, the 5 and the 1s. Like that's better. At least I think. I feel like that's better. I remember whenever I was like younger, I used to think that it was awesome if you could have like $100 bill, a $50 bill, a $20 bill, a 10, a 5, and a 1, so that you can go to the club. And whenever that song came on, like you got a $100 bill, put your hands up. You got a $20 bill, put your hands up. So you can do that stuff. Because I'm honest, I wasn't going to lie. If I was dead broke in the club and all I had was a credit card, I ain't putting my hands up at all. I'm going over to the bar and buying a drink, and I'm acting like I got to hold that drink with 2 hands. I am so glad that only one hand was shown on the camera, because it would have looked like this. And that's not a good look for your boy. I'm just saying. Other teams, like again, we can talk about the contracts impacting other teams, impacting the net value of other teams. But whenever you look at just last season, right? Like you add up all of whatever happened with the last decade of Dallas Cowboys overpaying in contracts. You add that up, it still equals 10% of what they made last season. A little less than 10%. It's more like 8% of what they made last season. Because they make or they make $1.2 billion after all their operating cost. Their operating cost is $3 million less than what the Jacksonville Jaguars made. What it costs to run the Dallas Cowboys is $3 million less than everything the Jacksonville Jaguars make after their TV deals, after all the ticket sales, after everything that they get, the supplements they get for going to London, and all the other things that they get. It costs more to run the Dallas Cowboys, almost as much to run the Dallas Cowboys as it does for the Jacksonville Jaguars to make money. All those contracts can hurt other teams. It doesn't matter to the Dallas Cowboys. And this is going with the hypothetical of if they wind up making Micah Parsons the highest paid player in the NFL. In the NFL. Right? Or highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. That's what this goes off of, which they're more than likely going to do. $100 million over the last decade. Break it up, that's $10 million a year to Jerry Jones out of that $10 billion that he made. That is the 1% of the 1% that we're talking about. I guess it would be 10% of the 1% that we're talking about right now. The owner with the lowest net worth is Mark Davis, surprisingly. Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily surprising. I think it's a lot like, and a lot of it comes in from the stadium, right? Like they got themselves a brand new stadium. If it wasn't for that brand new stadium that they got in Vegas, I think Mark Davis's value would be much less than that. But he's kind of old school, right? Like he's not like a lot of these other guys. When you look at Jerry Jones, I missed my segment. Damn it. Let me play this real quick. I got to play the segment. Sorry, guys. Got to pay the bills around here. I don't even know how to come up with like a catchy segue to it, so we're just going to jump right into it.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Go check out myhappynuts.com and find out what package works best for you. Guys, they've got everything that you need for your male grooming needs. They've got the whole body deodorant. They've got the comfort cream. They've got the anti-chafe stick. You want to go around free balling? You can go ahead and free ball all you want and not worry about any chafe. How amazing is that? I speak from experience. www.myhappynuts.com. My nuts are the happiest they've ever been because I go to www.myhappynuts.com. I use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout. I save on all my male grooming needs. You need to do the same as well. We were talking about ownership in the NFL. Our guy Tommy Cananza saying the owner with the lowest net worth was Mark Davis. Surprisingly, I said it wasn't a surprise to me. Mark Davis' net worth is just the tip of that of Jerry Jones. That is correct. It really is. Just a percentage of Jerry Jones. I'm one of these people, like, I like weird number stuff, right? And they're like, oh, what was it? I'm trying to remember what it was, right? So the difference between millions and billions and trillions, right? I'm one of these people, like, I love stuff like that. So if you had, and I think I did this number wrong. That's one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So if you had 1,000,000 seconds, right? Like how long it would take for 1,000,000 seconds to go by would take you 11 and a half days. If you have 1,000,000 seconds that go by, it would take you 11 and a half days. If you went up to 1,000,000,000 seconds, it would take you 32 years. Think about that, right? Like the difference between 1,000,000 and 1,000,000,000, like we know it in the zeros and things like that. But if you had 1,000,000 seconds, it takes you 11 and a half days to get through 1,000,000 seconds. To get to 1,000,000,000 seconds, it would take you 32 years. And if I'm not mistaken, to get to like a trillion seconds would be like 30,000 some odd years. Like it would be so far down the road that it would be insane, like exponentially insane. None of us would live that long for 1,000,000,000,000 seconds to have gone by. Right? Like that's what I love seeing, like those differences between billions and trillions and things like that, right? Like I love numerology. I'm a weird person like that. Tommy Cananza was surprised that Mark Davis was the owner with the least value in the NFL because the Raiders have a huge fan base. Al Davis should have shown his son how to make money in the NFL rather than showing Jerry. LOL. But that's what I was going to say, right? Like the Davis family is a lot like the Buss family was with the LA Lakers, right? Their value, all their assets came from owning the team. That's all there was, right? Like when you look at the Detroit Lions, the Ford family, you know that name, right? Like they obviously have other avenues of income that come in. The Davis family and the Buss family just own that team. Like that's it. When you look at the stuff like with Jerry Jones is an owner that owns multiple things. Like he has the oil fields. He's got all the other things that he does. Like what is it? Jerry Jones has oil, gas, hospitality. I forgot about that. Like Texas Live. If you've ever been to Dallas and you've got, you've been to the stadium, Texas Live, that hotel, that $1 million generating hotel, Jerry Jones owns that. And now they have him in like Vegas and Philadelphia and Miami and like all these other places. He owns that. Like different real estates in all the other country or all the other major cities that have sports hubs and things like that, right? Tommy Cananza saying that he's been alive for 1,292,976,000 seconds. Thanks, Mike. You just showed me how freaking old I am. I'm telling you, I love things like that. I know it's weird, but I love like just being able to figure out numbers, like numerology. I love those things. Like that's a different topic for another day. I'll talk about that some other time. It's not going to be on today's show. We're not gonna get mentally into people's brains and things like that right now, right? But think about that. And not only does Jerry Jones have like all these oil companies and gas companies and real estate and all that, he also bought a ton of Papa John's franchises. Like the man is just a money-making machine. And whenever you look at Mark Davis, he owns the Raiders and he owns the Las Vegas Aces. That's it. There's nothing else. Nothing else that the Davis family owns. I even looked it up right now just to see if there might be other stuff that he's doing. He's invested in some stuff, but he's not a majority owner in anything other than the Raiders and the Aces. And even whenever it comes to the Raiders, he's just the controlling partner. Greatest owner in sports, but also the worst general manager, talking about Jerry Jones. I can see that, right? And again, I said it at the beginning of the show. If Jerry Jones wasn't the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, the GM, would have been fired a long time ago because the Dallas Cowboys haven't reached their potential. I firmly believe that, right? Like, I'm with you. As an owner, Jerry Jones has done great. That's why it bothers me so much. And like it shouldn't have. I shouldn't have opened up ESPN this morning, and the article I see is Bill Barnwell, how Jerry Jones bungled contract negotiations cost the Cowboys $100 million, because it sent me down this rabbit hole of being like, well, how long was that? Like, how much contracts are we talking about? XYZ, right? And we found out that even that $100 million is 1%. 1% of what the Dallas Cowboys have made over the last decade. 1%. Shows you just the egregious amount of money that is in the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys, not every team. Remember, we compared them to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I wonder, let's see. Let's see what NFL team made the least amount of money. Oh, wow. That's a lot more than I thought it was going to be. So let's look at this. Okay, so we have estimated values. No, that's not what I need. Let's go. The quick search is telling me that the Arizona Cardinals made the least amount of money. The Arizona Cardinals made the least amount of money, $500 million in revenue, but they only made $467 million in revenue the year before. So I mean, they're doing better, right? Like they're moving on up. But think about that. That $500 million in revenue is once again almost a third of what the Dallas Cowboys made last season. That's just wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. Was there another team? Nope, the Dallas Cowboys are the team that made the most, followed by the LA Rams. This is according to Sports Pro. Yeah, nonetheless, I got caught in this rabbit hole, right? I keep thinking to myself, like, okay, it's the Dallas Cowboys. I shouldn't be this passionate about it. This is how you know that we're getting close to watching the NFL season kick off. We're right there. It's right around the corner. We're about to get our drug covered in all kinds of shame glaze because we are about to get the NFL back. The preseason games are a good way of getting us ready for it, injecting it slowly into our veins. The preseason games are doing that for us. But for the most part, we need to, like we need our drug. The NFL is our drug. We're about to get our drug. I am looking at something else that I saw, and I just wanted to talk about this for a minute, right? Like, I get the alert yesterday on my phone that, the University of Texas is ranked the number one team in the preseason Associated Press top 25 poll. And it's a 2.5-point underdog to number 3 Ohio State for their week 1 showdown in Columbus. So they're the number one team in the country according to the preseason poll, but they're an underdog to Ohio State. So that means they think that Ohio State is better than Texas. But somehow Texas is the number one ranked team according to the Associated Press top 25 poll. And surprisingly, it's the first time in the history of the University of Texas that they are the number one team in the preseason. It feels like it's something that should have happened a bunch of times, right? Like, with as good as Texas was, it feels like it should have happened before, but just crazy that this is the first time. Tommy Carranza saying horns down, #boomer. That's right, I forgot. Tommy Carranza, the Oklahoma fan. ESPN Bet reports that Texas and Ohio State as its most bet college football game in early betting. The Longhorns are attracting 54.1% of the bet on the spread, so they think that they're going to be able to to cover the spread and 73.6% on the money line. So even though Ohio State is Vegas's odds, to win the game, they're saying that it looks like it's going to be Texas, right? Like most people are going with the University of Texas. But it gets me to a different point, right? Like, who are these preseason polls for, right? Like, does anyone really care all that much about these preseason polls? Like that would be like that's like saying, oh, this is the best team in the NFL before anybody's played a game, right? I know you can have like your assumptions on what team you think is going to be the best team in the NFL based off of whatever they did in the offseason, the draft, et cetera, et cetera. But the preseason poll, I feel like for college football is just a huge waste of time, right? Like, because we don't know nothing about what these teams are going to do. There could be injuries there. There can be all kinds of stuff that happen. We have no earthly clue as to what might be going down. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the jerk, right? Like maybe that's something I've got going on that I've got to get fixed with myself. It just feels like these preseason polls are a huge waste of time because we have no idea. We got no clue. And I always like joke about it because whoever the number one team was normally isn't even the number one team 4 or 5 games into the season, especially with college football and how volatile college football can be. I'm not a fan of the preseason polls, and maybe that's because I'm not a huge college football guy, right? Maybe that's because the University of Texas at El Paso has beat it out of me, where I just don't have much fandom for college football. Like, I love watching Texas Tech, don't get me wrong. That's more ingrained in me than most things. But I don't live and die. But maybe that's just me. Like, I just don't live and die with sports, right? Maybe you can help me out there. Like, do you, of all the sports that are out there, do you care more about college football or do you care more about the professional sports? Because I feel like most people out there, like, sure, college football is, I guess if you're from like Alabama or a place that doesn't have a professional sports team, then maybe you care more about college football, right? If you have a good college football program. If you're in like Idaho and all you got is Boise State, then I can understand why you would care about Boise State. Or like Montana, I would totally understand like those states like that where they've got nothing going on, where they would probably care more about college sports than they do about the NFL, right? The same thing with like Nebraska. I feel like Nebraska would love, absolutely love, whatever their college football team is more than the professional team. Cowboys over every one of my teams by far. I'm the same way. Like I've always played that game. If you had to give up watching all the other sports to just watch one sport, if you had to give up all of the teams that you support to watch one team, what would it be? And for me, it's always the Dallas Cowboys, right? Like I'd give up the Spurs, I'd give up the Yankees, I'd give up all the other sports that I like to watch just to simply watch the Dallas Cowboys. Because I love that team. I hate that I love that team. But it is what it is. I absolutely love them. All right, y'all. I am sorry to cut today's show short. I have something that I've got to do in the next 10 minutes, so I got to make sure that I am prepped for that. But I do want to thank you all so much for being a part of today's show. So I can also say Nico Harrison made it real easy to want to give up on the Dallas Cowboys or on the Dallas Mavericks. That makes me sad. That makes me sad, man. The Mavs are going to be good. The Mavs are going to be good this year. They'll be all right. But nonetheless, like I said, I got something I got to do in the next 10 minutes, guys. So I appreciate you tuning into the show. We will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.